The council meeting of, sorry. The council meeting of March 15th, 2022 is called to order. Councilmember McDowell, would you like to do the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, I will.
And everyone else mute their mics.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Perfect. Donna, will you do a roll call, please?
Yes, I will. Councilmember Bode,
Here.
Councilmember Peterson,
Here.
Mayor Nisco,
Here.
Councilmember McDowell,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Schmidt,
I'm here.
Councilmember Gutierrez,
Here.
and Councilmember Sherman.
Here.
Thank you.
All right. Does the council have any late changes to the agenda? Nope. Moving on. At this time, I would like to remind the members of the public they can make comments during the public comment period, as well as any item listed on the business agenda or action agenda. When making public comment, you will need to raise your hand electronically on the Zoom app, state your full name, and whether you reside in the city limits within Mason County or reside elsewhere. Option 1, join the Zoom meeting by clicking on the link that is displayed on the city's webpage. The link is listed on the agenda and minutes page under the tab that says more. Option 2, you may email the city manager, Jeff Knighton. Option 3, call Jeff's office phone. Both the email address and phone number are displayed on the screen of Mason Web TV streaming video. All right, do we have any board reports tonight from the council? Nope. All right. Has everyone had a chance to read the consent agenda? Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as published?
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as published.
I second it.
All right, there's a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda as published. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Cheryl Haywood, Executive Director of Timberland Regional Library, is here to give us an update on the library.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mhm.
Awesome. Good evening, Mayor Nisco and council members. Thank you for this opportunity to share with you Timberland Regional Library's 2021 State of the Library and several 2022 initiatives. Before I begin, I want to mention that your trustee for Mason County is Dr. Ken Sebi, who serves on the Timberland Regional Library Board of Trustees. Erin Stumpf is your Shelton Library Manager, and she joins us tonight as well. You should have received the 2021 annual report for the 5 counties. That's Mason, Lewis, Thurston, Grays Harbor, and Pacific counties, and a separate report with a focus on Mason County. I encourage you to take a look at the longer report outlining additional programs and services, stories, and patron feedback during 2021. The longer report is available at trl.org as well. So throughout 2021, Timberland continued to innovate and adapt to changing needs just like everybody else had to. Staff demonstrated their nimbleness and adaptability to changing circumstances. And I want to take this opportunity right now to thank staff across our 7,000 square miles for their continued resilience, collaboration, and can-do-itness. Throughout 2021, our libraries continue to be anchor institutions playing an essential role in the communities we serve. So here are the 2021 highlights based on Timberland's 2020 to 2024 strategic direction, which focuses on local communities and increasing the library's presence in underserved communities, partnering with agencies to support diverse communities, and empowering children birth to 5, clarifying what they need and how to provide for those needs. So in terms of 2021 in Shelton, we worked very collaboratively with Mark Ziegler and his staff, Luke, and we had, with a gift donation, Timberland and the city of Shelton worked together to refresh the restrooms at the Shelton Timberland Library. I'll be talking more about the refresh that's going on right now in a few moments. Across the district in 2021, including now all the libraries, Wi-Fi was upgraded at all the libraries and at our service center. We reclassified 13,000 picture books into 14 general themes, and we call this the Picture Book City Project, so that toddlers and preschoolers and their caregivers can find new reading adventures more easily. We purchased 3 new different types of formats, one to circulate for people to check out. One is called Vox Books, that's VOX, books for children. These are talking picture books in English and in Spanish. There's no need for a computer, no tablet, nor phone. The second type of item we purchased last year for circulation are preloaded audiobooks for all ages. These are called playaways. And then we also purchased something called Playaway Launchpads, which have loaded content focusing on STEM and reading for birth to 5. So these are all new formats. You can check them out at your local library. And this is all in addition to the ongoing baby and toddler and family and bilingual story times that are available on Timberland's YouTube station. All conducted by the staff, all produced by the staff. We added a lot of different online resources last year, too many to mention right now, but I do want to point out 2 of them. One of them is called ABC Mouse. This is an early learning online resource for ages 2 through 8 for reading, math, and science. We have been providing in-library access for a number of years, and now we're able to provide it from home access as well for the next 2 years. We also subscribe to another online resource called Press Reader, and this is where you have access to 7,000 world newspapers and magazines, including content from over 120 countries in 60 different languages. Last summer, we opened up our 28th library, the West Olympia Timberland Library at Capitol Mall in West Olympia. This is with a 2-year lease. We call this a demonstration Lucky Day library because we're demonstrating to the public the need for it, but also that the Lucky Day part of it is that it's all best-selling popular titles for all ages in different formats. And on February 18 of this year, we opened up the Hawks Prairie Timberland Library, another Lucky Day demonstration library with a 3-year lease. We also, during the pandemic, installed Timberland Regional Library story trails throughout the 5 counties. And we did this in partnership with cities and counties and US Forest Service and ports and hospitals and all kinds of partners. These walking trails are a fun and engaging way for families to combine a love of nature and a love of reading. And so, with the parks that you have in Shelton, it would be very great to work. Erin, I'm sure would love to work with you on that kind of a project. And then all of our libraries continued as connection sites in the WorkSource system across the 5-county region. I am appointed by the county commissioners in the 5 counties. I am serving right now my second 3-year term on the Pack Mountain Board. And I lead the One Stop Committee as a board member that oversees WorkSource in the 5-county region. Okay, so here are some numbers for 2021. In Shelton, we have 22,178 active library card users in 2021. They checked out 110,225 physical items and 82,441 downloadable items from our platform called Overdrive. Overdrive is where you can get an app called Libby after the original owner's daughter, and you can download ebooks and audiobooks and e-magazines as well. Okay, now for some 2022 initiatives. We have new open hours that began January 1st of this year. And when Shelton reopens on April 4th, the new hours in Shelton, we were able to add 5 more for consistency's sake. It is now 9 to 6, Monday through Saturday, which is great, Erin. Thank you very much. Okay, the Shelton refresh, what we call the Shelton Timberland Library refresh. We think it's the first in 20 or 25 years, and Mark might have a better date on that than I do. I want to acknowledge and say thank you to the great partnership between the city of Shelton and Timberland. It's been great working with Mark on the refresh itself. Want to thank Mark and Luke as well. Erin speaks very highly of Luke. And we also want to thank our operations staff and our lead, Matt Sneed, for his leadership, because it's just been a really great partnership with Shelton staff. It has also been great working with the Civic Center and the YMCA, allowing Shelton Library staff to do our pop-up libraries during this refresh. As to the refresh itself, this is very new for us. It only began like the fall of 2020. City-owned buildings are typically the City of Shelton. The annexation agreement is where we provide the service, you provide the building, you maintain the upkeep and the maintenance and so on. Well, we worked with our board and we worked it through, and they allowed us to do these special projects as long as there was enough funding in our building fund, which is a special purpose fund. And so for this Shelton refresh, which includes new paint, new flooring, which is carpet and LVP, new furniture, new layout, obviously, as you know, closed for 3 months. And as I said, opening April 4th, we have set aside $200,000 plus our staff time to do this project during the 3 months. There will be a grand opening sometime mid-May. You will be receiving invitations, and I hope to be able to see you in person. I want to end by sharing a quote that paints the picture of what Timberland has provided to people, especially in the past 2 years. A library in the middle of a community is a cross between an emergency exit, a life raft, and a festival. They are cathedrals of the mind, hospitals of the soul, theme parks of the imagination. On a cold, rainy island, they are the only sheltered public spaces where you are not a consumer, but a citizen instead. Thank you for your time and this opportunity.
Thank you, Cheryl. Does anyone have any questions for Cheryl?
Just a comment. And thankful for the Timberland board for supporting the remodel. It's often difficult to find the funds in the general fund to do some of these, major upkeep items on our buildings. But I hope as we move forward, we'll make sure we commit to maintenance and, keeping that going. And I think this is a great addition and update for the community as well. And thank you very much for pursuing this and seeing it through.
Yes, you're very welcome.
Thank you, Joe. Councilmember Gutierrez.
I just wanted to thank you and the staff at the library for all the beautiful things you do for the community. I do remember walking the trails, feeling lonely, and seeing at Huff and Puff a nice little story about sunshine. So thank you so much for all that you do. And thank you for your staff for helping me find a strange book that I read a long time ago. So thank you so much for all that you do, and for your staff, your hardworking staff that were really polite and so helpful. Thank you so much.
Awesome, thank you. I just want to follow up, Joe. There's an annexation agreement, which is for us, like the US Constitution, between Timberland Regional Library and the City of Shelton. And one of the things that Mark and I are talking about is a further definition or a further clarification of the roles and responsibilities of the city and Timberland. Because when you look at that annexation agreement, it was written in the 70s. It's very high level. And so we have one that we worked on, I think in 2015 with the city of Tumwater, and we knew that it was going to end up being like a template for other cities. So I'm working on that right now. I need to add another statement in there about what's going on with this funding from our building fund. And then I have to get it approved by our board. And then the board has to give me permission to sign it with the city manager of the city of Shelton. So I just wanted you to know that I'm working with this with Mark, and it'll take me a couple of months, 2-3 months to get this through all the process.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
All right. No other questions. Thank you, Cheryl. All right. Donna, do anybody interested in public comment tonight?
Let me take a look here, Mr. Mayor. No, we don't.
All right. Okay, we're gonna move into our business agenda. Deputy Mayor Joe.
Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind, and council members, from my role within the MACECOM board, I'm going to recuse from the conversation this evening and ultimately any action on the MACECOM lease. So see you on the other side.
All right. All right. Our first business item is a lease with MACECOM. Community Development Director Mark Ziegler has details for us.
Thank you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, council members. As you mentioned, I'm bringing to you tonight a new lease with Masecom for just over 2,400 square feet of space here in the Shelton Civic Center that houses Masecom's operations. This lease originated in 2009 and has a renewal period of every 3 years. And so at the end of 2021, we met the end of that 3-year term. And so this has been just edited a little bit to meet both entities' needs, and bringing to you tonight that version for your consideration on the action agenda for April 5th. Just a couple highlights about the rent. It's got a base rent per month with a 3% annual escalation, and then rates for other services like janitorial services, maintenance and operations, exercising generators that are critical to 24-hour operations that Masecom provides. So that is as an attachment to the lease, and further identifies the custodial services and other operations the city provides for them in that space.
Is that it?
That's all I have.
Can we let everybody know that MACECOM stands for Mason County Emergency Communications, basically our 911? In case they don't. All right. Donna, do we have any public comment?
No, we don't, Mr. Mayor.
All right. And do we have a motion?
I move to place the Masecom facilities lease on the April 5th, 2022 City Council action agenda.
I will second.
All right. Do we have any comments or questions for Director Ziegler or staff? No? We have a motion and a second to place the Masecom facility lease on the April 5th, 2022 City Council action agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. We have another item from Director Ziegler, a resolution acknowledging receipt of petition for annexation. Or first in how many years?
Boy, well,
Mr. Mayor,
technically,
if we may, could we just wait one moment for council member
Oh, yes. I'm sorry.
Bill Schmidt to
Mr.
rejoin us?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I just texted Councilmember Schmidt and let him know that that item was completed and he can come back.
I'm here.
You got 2 texts because I did it too.
Okay. So do we have any public comment, Donna?
Any
Oh, wait a
public
minute.
comment?
Wait a minute. Sorry. Back up. How about the presentation?
terrific. Thank you, Mayor. So yes, this is the first annexation we've had of substance, or proposed annexation, I would say. We did annex the part of the Eagle Point property, as well as some Oakland Bay and the marina a few years ago to consolidate some property lines there. So tonight before you is a resolution for consideration of a petition for annexation. So this isn't the actual petition for annexation. This is just the, as you remember, the city attorney's presentation a couple weeks ago describing the process or the several processes for annexation. This is one in which a 60% petition, which is 6% of the assessed value of the proposed annexation area, would come to the city. So the first consideration of the city is whether to even consider that petition for annexation. So that's what we're doing tonight by presenting this resolution. And the resolution outlines the 2 property owners, 4 total parcels, just under 280 acres, 279.09 acres, just east of Olympic College. And I will share a screen to show you a graphic. Of where this is located. So the red outline shows the 4 different parcels. Olympic College is located where my cursor is. Alpine Way and North 13th, which turns into Brockdale, is my cursor north-south here. So with the council's consideration of this resolution, potential next steps would county assessor would determine sufficiency of the 60% petition when it comes in. Formal public notice and public hearing would come to the council for consideration of the annexation and an ordinance for approval, denial of any or all or part of the subject properties. At that point, the council can make a decision on that. And then the annexation, if considered and approved by the council, would take effect on upon the approval of the ordinance. The council can, like I said, accept, reject, or geographically modify the proposed annexation, and the requirement of assumption of existing city indebtedness to the proposed property owners. And that's all I have tonight. I'm open to any questions and would recommend consideration of the resolution being placed on the action agenda for further consideration on April 5th.
Director Ziegler, then this is all undeveloped land, correct?
At this point, it's all undeveloped, correct?
Okay. Donna, do we have any public comment?
Let me look here, Mr. Mayor. No, we do not.
All right. And do we have a motion?
I move to place resolution number 1229-0222 on the city council action agenda for April 5th, 2022.
Second.
All right. Comments or questions for Director Ziegler or staff? No one?
Just a comment. I'm
Councilman.
appreciative of the process thus far. Our joint meeting with the county as well as the Port of Shelton. These are good initial steps. And I think, again, while, you know, it's 4 parcels undeveloped, basically, you know, all participating and desiring to be annexed into the city, should be a relatively simple process for us. But I think it's important to be deliberate and transparent throughout this. And I think we're on the right track, and I'm excited to get this project moving and to support our growth plans in the city of Shelton.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Are there any other questions or comments? All right. We have a motion and a second to place resolution number 1229-0222 on the city council action agenda for April 5th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Now the fun starts, correct, Mr. Ziegler? All right. City Engineer Ken Gill has information for us about Western Gateway Project.
Good evening, council members in Zoomville. It's good to see you all again. A couple days before St. Patrick's Day, so I hope you're all getting ready for your green in a couple days. Today is all about Western Gateway, and this is a big deal. This is your #1 project in your 6-year TIP. So we advertised for bids about a month ago. We got 4 bids. One of them was right around $2.5 million. It was Miles Resources. They own the gravel pit right up the road off of Franklin. And then we got 3 others that were all right around in the $2.9 to $3 million range. So it tells me this is really, they left around $400,000 on the table. So this is your public process. You get Don and Brooke to thank for that at work. So the bid tabulation prepared by Dom Miller, who's here tonight, is attached. It's the big page thing with all the numbers on it. And there's 3 schedules on it. And the reason why it's important there's 3 schedules on it is because they're different items that are constructed as part of the job. One is the sidewalk, one is the asphalt, and one is the water main. And Shelton got excellent bids on the overlay for the paving. We got great bids on the sidewalk, but the water main was a little high. And it was above what our bids, what we estimated way back when we were budgeting for this about a year ago. So basically what the bids told us is that inflation has ate up our reserves that we had talked about. And I don't think it's news. Everything costs more. Gas is almost $5 a gallon now. And that's disappointing, but it's especially hard on our public works process. This project is funded by several partners. One of them, the biggest one that's been around since the initiation, is the Transportation Improvement Board. Shelton's blessed that we have Amy Asher. She's the general manager, MTA. She's one of the board members. So we're able to connect in with her and get feedback from her. But TIB allows you to check in at advertisement and also an award. And at each check-in point, you actually get to ask for some funds. And when we checked in at award, that's basically getting their permission to come bring it to you folks to award it. The price that we got for asphalt was so good that we were in danger of having to give some money back. So we've since heard back from TIB. They've restored that funding. They didn't give us an additional ask. We asked for an initial ask. It would have been some more icing, but we didn't get it. So those funds are in flux that are listed in your budget financial. It's the first couple sentences. To make this project move forward with the budget that you have right now, looking ahead to the future, we'll have to do a supplement. And you'll need to supplement it kind of from 3 different funds. One is your water fund, one is your storm fund, and one is your streets funds. And you kind of, Jay and I have been walking a step with monetary and finance to make sure that in the water and in the storm fund, we stay within your operating reserves. We're not dropping below those set amounts that you're required to have by your budget. The bit of good news in the streets, the deficiency in the street funds gets made up by savings from the Park Street overlay. If you recall back from the Park Street overlay, we didn't have to put down so much asphalt because it was thicker there. You know, we thought we were gonna have to grind down all the way to the base, and lo and behold, we did not have to do that, despite how bad it looked when we first started. So with that, I move that we recommend this motion and place it on your April 5th action agenda. After you do your motion, I'm here to answer any questions about it. I'm excited about it. And also Don Miller is here to ask any question. He's the engineer of record.
Thank you, Ken. Do we have a motion?
I move to place resolution number 1230-0222 on the April 5th, 2022 action agenda for further consideration.
Second.
All right. Do we have any questions or comments?
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor.
Yes. Oh, public comment. I'm sorry.
Yes,
Any
even
public
though I don't think we have any, but I need to check. There is no public comment, Mr. Mayor.
All right.
Thank
Now,
you.
do we have any questions for Engineer Gill or staff? All right. We have a motion and a second to place resolution number 1230-0222 on the April 5th, 2022 action agenda for further consideration. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, our next business item is a resolution for a stormwater capacity grant. Ken has details.
Council, this is all about supporting our efforts for our phase 2 NPDES permit. And specifically, this pays for several of the items that are, I call them unfunded mandates, that Sheldon is conditioned with as a result of that permit that Ecology put back on us back in October of 2019. And Brooke Kiltz really gets all the credit for this one. she carried the load in applying for the grant. She also continued to gently nudge the ecology staff who are working from at home to get it towards signature. But the big thing that she did is that she realized that Shelton could get some additional funds beyond other phase 2 cities because of our financial hardship. So if you're talking to your friends in other cities, other phase 2 cities, they get about $50K. Shelton gets around $70,000. And that's a big win for Shelton. So 2 other points of interest that would be going through my mind if I'm sitting in your seats is, what's this paying for? What are we going to use it for? Think back about a month, and Evan Botter was here with the Mason Conservation District talking about their public education and outreach program that they're doing for the city with their plant sales, tree sales, going into the schools. That pays for about $50,000 of it. But page 2 of your grant, and I don't have the page number, I'm sorry, in your packet, but I've got it here in front of you. In the grant, the grant is in your packet. There's a list of eligible activities for that additional $20,000. So we'll probably be coming back to you. The annual report for the permit is due at the end of March. So we'll be coming back to you with some additional items to spend that additional money on. But 3 quick things, just in summary. Thank you, Brooke Kiltz. And thank you for the council for already looking ahead to have Mason Conservation to help us out with some permit requirements. But that's all I got.
Right. Donna, do we have any public comment?
No, we don't, Mr. Mayor.
Donna, can you read the resolution 1232-0322, space 21-23?
Yes, resolution number 1232-0322. A resolution of the City of Shelton, Washington, accepting a stormwater capacity grant from the Department of Ecology and authorizing the city manager to sign the funding agreement and other related documents as needed.
All right. And do we have a motion?
I move to adopt resolution number 1232-0322 as presented.
Second.
All right. Do we have any questions or comments for Engineer Gill or staff? Okay, thank you, Ken, and thank you, Brooke.
Thank you. Yep.
All right. We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution number 1232-0322 as presented. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our last item of business is also from Ken. It's the Ken show tonight.
So this is associated with the Western Gateway project. So first I want to give Brooke Kiltz a big thank you. She's a much better writer than I am capturing the history of the project. So this briefing right here has the entire history of Western Gateway project in every detail that I could never remember. So a big kudos to her, but it basically goes through how this project started. It started way back in 2018. And it started with the downtown visioning effort and working through that. So the reason why we're here tonight on this is to keep Gray and Osborne through the end of the project for construction management services. And the reason why we need to do that is basically because with the funding from the Transportation Improvement Board, that's state funding, and also for the ARPA funding, that's federal funds, there comes strings. You need to do things like interview the operators to make sure they're getting paid the correct prevailing wage. You've got to keep track of quantity. There's special testing requirements. So Shelton is blessed to have these grant funds, but also there's strings that come with it. And your engineering staff needs to be able to stretch to honor those requirements so that we pass a clean audit, so that I'm always feeling comfortable and you're never going to give a dime back through an audit. But also the other reason why I like to keep the engineer of record through the construction is because they know the design better than someone new. And they can quickly respond to questions from contractors as changes come up, because all we've got right now is what's on paper. And when you start digging into the ground, things can change. We don't expect that. It's a pretty simple, straightforward job, but there's always risk involved when you put a shovel in the ground. So as in addition to your agenda packet, there's a scope and fee that Don Miller, who's here tonight, prepared for us. And he's here to answer any questions on it. So that's all I had to prepare. I'm eager to hear any comments that you have, and I'm excited to start the project.
All right, thank you. Donna, do we have any public comment?
No, we don't, Mr. Mayor.
And do we have a motion?
I move to place resolution number 1234-0322 on the April 5th, 2022 action agenda for further consideration.
Thank you.
A second.
Okay. Comments, questions for Ken or staff? Deputy Mayor Schmidt.
Just a comment, fully support this. I think it's a good call for the reasons Ken stated, especially when we get to turn and dirt. It's going to be good to have the institutional knowledge there from the project. It's a good call. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Okay, we have a motion and a second to place resolution number 1234-0322 on the April 5th, 2022 action agenda for further consideration. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. There are no action items tonight. Jeff, would you like to give us your city manager report?
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of the council. A couple of things I wanted to mention tonight. The first is a very sincere thank you to our legislative delegation, Senator Sheldon, Representatives McEwen, and Representative Griffey. We were very successful this year, and a lot of it had to do with their hard work on our behalf. So really want to give special thanks to our delegation for that. We were able to secure $3.25 million to upgrade the headworks at the satellite treatment plant, which goes toward the long-term strategy for providing utility services that the council and citizens have told us they want to see. So that was a huge get for us. And then the other item is providing secure parking for our police professionals that we work with at the city, and that help keep our community as safe as it can possibly be. Providing those safety items for their peace of mind is a great thing as well, and we'll look forward to completing that project. Next thing I wanted to mention was the special event coming up next weekend for St. Patrick's Day. Come downtown and spend some time with your friends and with your community and with your neighbors in downtown. There's going to be some terrific events going on Saturday, March 19th. And finally, I wanted to talk a little bit about your looking ahead. You do have a study session next Tuesday, the 22nd, that relates to camping on private property. If you recall, a little bit earlier this year, council adopted an ordinance rather that addressed camping on public property, and this is somewhat similar, and it's related to camping on private property. And then your strategic planning retreat is scheduled for Friday the 25th. At your next council meeting, you have several items. That one looks to be fairly busy. We have a public hearing for the updated code section for a neighborhood residential zone that we've been working on quite a while with volunteers from the community that have helped us, and helped Community Development Director Ziegler put that together. Also a resolution to consider the replacement levy for the emergency medical services. And then ordinances to consider, both updating the sign ordinance, which council held a work session on, a couple weeks ago, and the graffiti ordinance, which council also held the work session on a couple weeks ago, and interlocal agreement with Mason Transit Authority, which we're really excited about, and as part of the Western Gateway project that you heard quite a bit about tonight. And with that, that's all I have. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Any questions for City Manager Knighton? All right. Does the council have any new items for discussion? Councilmember McDowell.
As you know, the last few years I've been talking about bringing a high school or 2 high school students onto our council as non-voting, as non-voters, just to be there. The point of this was to be able to take this information back to their government classes or whatever classes they have and share with what's going on in the city. It also gets them excited about government as they get older, gets their toes wet. And so I am wanting to go ahead with this project. And the school board is behind it. They've told me that that would be a great thing for the high school students to participate in. So I just want the okay to go ahead and start this. And whoever wants to work with me on it would be great. I don't want to do this by myself, but it'll be a process probably, I would say 6 or 8 months out. If we get started now, hopefully by the new school year, we'd have some students ready to step on board.
Councilmember Gutierrez.
I wanted to express my support for this project. And Kathy, let's talk about ways in which I can be of service.
Okay, I'll get hold of you.
Councilmember Peterson.
It seems to me that this needs to be a larger conversation than tacked on at the end of a regular meeting. So perhaps this is something we could discuss at a future study session or even at the retreat, because it is something we've discussed before, and I think it warrants a more robust conversation.
Well,
I think so, thank you.
Let's see if we get a consensus here, if we want to move forward with this. I support it as well. And does anybody else have any support? You want to move this forward? Have staff.
Great.
All right, so we have, and Councilmember Bode.
I agree with Deidre. I support it, but I would like to get deeper on it.
Okay, we have a majority that says to move forward, so I would suggest that we have staff look into how to make this happen.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Mayor. We have several study sessions available in April and in early May, and we can certainly schedule this topic for one of those study sessions.
Thank you.
That would be great.
All right. So any more items for discussion? Any more new items? Okay, our next meeting is April 5th, 2022 at 6 p.m. Our next council meeting, I'm sorry, I got lost. Our next council meeting will be April 5th at 6 p.m. We also have a study session March 22nd at 6 p.m. This meeting is adjourned at 6:44 p.m.